Well, what's up, Gideon's Tactical family? Thanks for joining me here on another blade review. I'm really looking forward to this particular episode and this particular knife review because not only are we taking a look at a manufacturer that I have never reviewed one of their fixed blades before, and I'm talking about the lionsteel T5. So we got here in the Blade Boot Camp today. We're gonna be thrashing on, thumping on. But we have a steel I've never used before, and we have a handle design I've never seen before. So we have a lot of new stuff going on in this video that I'm really looking forward to breaking down with you. I've had a chance to just thump on this tool a bunch. I think it is in the size and possibility, and that's why we're gonna dive in today, of a knife that could possibly be a great like go bag, field knife, deployment tool, or a great camp knife. It's kind of in that medium range. It's not compact and small, but it's not huge and overbuilt like a huge survival knife. So it has this kind of crossover capability that we're gonna break down and take a look at today. Folks, before we go any further in this video, I wanna give a big shout out to today's sponsor, which is Nomadic subscription boxes. Now, up till now, I've never really been interested in subscription boxes because what tends to happen is there's like maybe one gear item that piques your interest and the rest are kind of throwaway, no name, you never heard of, brands that you're never gonna really use. But when I started looking into Nomadic, you get gear items of premium quality, but these things all are really well-built, well-known brands that you might actually put in rotation and want to use. And what I thought was really cool, just as one example, is that you get gear like this, a lead lenser, MH10 rechargeable headlamp. I've reviewed some of these in the past. These are really unique and really cool and have one of the industry's best warranties at 7 years. As another example, they have here in this particular box a Rumple original puffy blanket. We have these throughout the RV and have been using them now for almost 6 months nonstop, and they're fantastic. These things really get the job done. One of my most trusted pieces of equipment, Gear Aid Tenacious Tape. This stuff is amazing to fix all of your tears and rips, regardless on your favorite puffy jacket or your favorite backpacking tent. Yuko Survival Fire Steel, great for up to 3,000 strikes to get that fire going in an emergency situation, or just when you're having fun and you're wanting to get your burner for your cooking stove going. If you folks have been watching the channel for any extended period of time, you know how much I love coffee, so they threw in a couple of the Kuju individual pour overs as well as an eco vessel. This guy has a 100-year warranty, so for the next 100 years you can keep your beverages cool or warm depending on what you throw in there. So as you guys can tell, not only do you get some really cool stuff, but some really high quality name brand equipment. You're able to customize it by filling out a personal profile so they better know how to pick out the gear and equipment for you. And with a money back guarantee, if you're not happy with the equipment sent to you, you can send it back for a full refund. If you like exploring new gear, or in this case, sometimes it's hard picking gear for somebody that has so much equipment, this is an amazing gift item to give that person in your life that loves the outdoors, but you're having a hard time picking out something for them. You know they're gonna get some awesome equipment. And for you guys, the viewers, we have a 20% off code that is being offered below, and that will be in the link in the description box. So I encourage you, go click that link, type in that promo code. So check out Nomadic and explore what they have going on for your next adventure. And with that, let's go ahead and get back to the video. All right, so we're gonna dive right in with talking about this handle because this is the most unique part of it. I didn't really even put it together. I just wanted to buy it mainly and use this tool for the fact that we just haven't done a lionsteel. And then when it arrived and I noticed this, I was like, what in the world? This is sick. And what we have is one piece of machined micarta that has a huge slit in it that they then drop the full tang knife into. So you have an exposed tang back here, but then you have all micarta everywhere else. So it's not two slabs or two pieces, that they like epoxied together or anything like that. It's literally a piece of micarta that has been milled, and then they just drop it like a trough in there. So you're getting all of the strength of a full tang knife with those nice big large screws right there holding it into place. You got that exposed pommel out the back there, so you can do some pommeling. The lanyard hole is enclosed around the micarta, so that's going to be nice and contoured. It has a little bit of a flare there. And then you get all the ergonomics of like an enclosed tang knife, that with like a rubberized handle or something like that, which are more ergonomic but tend to be a little less robust. This has all the robustness and strength of full tang, exposed tang, with all the comfort of an enclosed handle, and it just feels so good in my large size hands. You can see their huge guard. They've done very mild ribbing, so you get even an extra layer of texture. You can see there, super cool. A couple hits of very mild jimping as well. Really like that. So you get a little bit of tactile grip if you need it. Very nice. And what I like is that the handle is 4.75 and the thickness at maximum thickness is 0.91. So, I mean, very full. It's not like this little thin knife. What tends to happen in this arena of tool is that you get these knives that they have a lot of capability, but they often have like too thin and too narrow a handle. And therefore lack some in ergonomics, particularly in like bearing down and for longer cutting tasks and woodworking. This has a big, nice full handle, huge guard, so you could absolutely deploy it as that stabbing, more heavy-duty tool if you need to, but also giving you all the comfort for long woods craft, or if you were hunting and processing game or something like that, that you would want from more of a camp knife. So it's an amazing, cool feature. Is very unique. I've never seen anything like it here at the channel before, of the hundreds of fixed blades that we've tested and reviewed, and is very high performing. Right, and the sheath is another aspect that I really am intrigued by. Made in Italy, full grain leather, double stitching all the way around, so that's really good, reinforced there. Very large belt loop. You can easily get a 2-inch belt in there. I am seeing a little bit of pulling right there on that seam. So that's just something to kind of take note of. Then you got your nice big leather strap right there, pops out of the way, that goes over that guard, and then you're able to pull it out easily without issue. Rides pretty flush, which I like. You know, it's not like a high ride. Very quiet. So, I mean, this is a very stealthy blade, so that's very good as well. This is the part that's kind of cool, is that they have a piece of PALS webbing attached. So you could easily run this on, say, like a shoulder strap or a MOLLE webbing of a tack vest or something like that without issue. And the way it's designed, it's going to be stealthy, it's going to be quiet, and it's going to ride rather well. So you do have that. You do have that little drainage hole right down in there as well. But you can unfeed that through these nylon straps that have been sewn in that look very robust, and then snap it back into place. So very cool. So not only for your basic belt carry and, you know, that full grain leather, and I do believe there's the brown option as well. I think they have a brown option available. And I do, if I remember correctly, there might be some versions with nylon. I'll run in and annotate that in if there are some like more tactical, quote unquote, versions that might be available out there. But very impressed with that leather sheath, and one of the few factory leather sheaths that I actually connect with and would actually use and not feel like I need to upgrade. All right, let's go ahead and hit this blade and also this steel. Now, this is the very first time I've ever used this steel, so I'm just gonna give you my experience with some basic utility and outdoor tasks, as well as the data I could look up and kind of find. So the steel itself, this Nolix, I believe is how I'm pronouncing that, Nolix steel. It is a stain-resistant tool steel. It has a very fine grain, so that's going to help with like edge stability, meaning, you know, keeping the edge from rolling or chipping. So that's a very good thing. That's never a negative. Usually rock weld around 58 to 63, just kind of depends. I believe this one's around 60, if I remember correctly. And it's supposed to have D2 like wear resistance, but better edge stability and edge, you know, retention, obviously, and therefore also rust resistance, which is positive. You know, most tool steels, they can tend to rust pretty quick. I haven't seen any sort of rusting on this, and we've been hanging out near a lake. We're at Lake Havasu, which is drier than a lot of other more humid areas, but it's been performing well, and I haven't seen any spots or other things, you know, showing up on the blade. Now the blade overall is going to be 5 inches, which is a great kind of medium size range. It's 0.2 on the thickness, and the knife is going to weigh 9.39 ounces without the sheath. So it's compact, giving you just a perfect amount of reach. I love 5-inch blades. It's like going to be probably like 4.875 with that little sharpening ricasso right there. Saber grind. It's a high saber grind. We got this really cool swedge that's very thick, so it's not going to really affect batoning. If you are going to do some batoning, you got this nice slow flat portion, great for throwing sparks, great for getting a fire started if you want to. And that thickness is almost pushing too thick for this size of knife. The way that it is designed, and because of how high the grind is, if it was a lower saber grind, it wouldn't cut very well. This does do a really good job in the outdoors, doing finer woods carving and cutting and those type of activities that you would want out of a tool like this, but then also has that thickness to be a little bit more robust for stabbing and harder tasks that maybe you would put it through if it was more in like your go bag or in a field kit. It gives you kind of this crossing blend of both worlds. You could do food prep with it because of how high the grind is. And I was just really pleased with the overall use that it can give you. Now, obviously, like a full flat, 0.16 inch thick blade will be better for just fine carving if that's all you're really wanting, and for food prep. So that's where maybe an actual like camp knife would make more sense if that's basically all you're going to be putting this knife through. But if you're looking for something that gives you a little bit more strength and durability and more of a piercing capability as well, and you like that crossover duality that it could do, this knife kind of gives you that best of both worlds, not sacrificing too much on the carving, but giving you more strength than just a thinner full flat grind tool would be in this size range. All right, guys, so now it's time for competitive options and really wanting to give you some food for thought and show you what I paid for, which I think is actually very good for what you're getting with this tool, which I paid about $152 on Blade HQ. We will have links in the description box below. Do appreciate it if this design or some of the competitive options make sense for you, using those hyperlinks that we offer in the box below, the description box. So 152, I think like 157 if you want the oxide coating, maybe 160. So we'll just, for easy math, 150 for everything that we're getting here, I think is very impressive. As an example here, for something that is definitely going to be a little bit more detail oriented, finer work done, this is the pro version of the Buck 119, going to come in at about $190, S35 VN steel, micarta handles, but it's a stick tang that goes through. It is nowhere near as just strong as the lionsteel is, with that exposed thick full tang. One piece of micarta, and then the high saber grind versus the hollow grind. The Buck will outperform it with like shaving and carving and food processing, but if I'm going to beat on it, thrash on it, be really tough on the blade, this lionsteel will heavily outperform the Buck, and I would trust it a lot more. Now, as another example here in the S35 VN range, about the same price, $180, $190, the USA made SOG pillar. Definitely like a combat utility knife, soldier knife, whatever you want to call it. And that S35 VN, I haven't used it, or sorry, I know that steel very well, love it. I haven't used the Nylox steel that's on this Lion steel enough, the T5, to really compare it. I would say that it's similar in what I'm seeing, and it's by no means a slouch, the Linox, compared to the S35 VN. But a lower saber grind, and though it has very deep cut in and good jimping, the guard on the lionsteel is even bigger. And as I was talking earlier, the handle on the lionsteel is much thicker, fuller. So for longer tasks, it just feels like a better overall tool in the hand. And then finally, just to kind of show you what I was talking about as a camp knife, if you're thinking about like a camp tool, right? Here is a great camp knife. This is a Work Tough Gear Red Wolf, about 140 bucks if I remember correctly. Kydex sheath, made in Taiwan, SK85 high carbon steel, differentially heat treated, very, very good for the tool that it is. It's a full flat grind at 0.16, so it's great for carving and it's great for like food prep. It's nowhere near as strong and robust as I love that word, robust, as the lionsteel is. The handle, though good and full, it just isn't quite as big as the lionsteel. The lionsteel is still bigger and just fuller in the hand. And the rust resistance is going to be much more noticeable with the lionsteel, whereas the high carbon on the Work Tough, just rusts real quick. And it's only $10 less than the Italian-made lionsteel. So I think you're getting a lot, and depending on what you want the tool to do, I think the lionsteel is this great crossing over blade, giving you a lot of capability and not really cutting too many corners in that capability side. Well, folks, there you have it. I hope that you have enjoyed this video. I hope it's been fun and entertaining and give you the data that you need. It's rad. I mean, this is a really cool knife that has a lot of capability and a lot of potential. and it's actually hitting a pretty good price point for the type of steel, the edge retention we're seeing, but the ergonomics and styling, it's all there in this package. And so I say that it would definitely be something worth taking a look at if this is the style that you're into and you're wanting to try something out a little bit more unique, something that has a higher stain and rust resistance than maybe some of your high carbons that you're used to, that oftentimes can fall into about the same price point depending on the manufacturer. So it's pretty cool. And I look forward to hearing your guys' thoughts on the lionsteel T5. Do you want to see more lionsteel blades reviewed here at the channel? If there are any data points that I missed, I look forward to reading the comments, and I'll do my best to answer them below. Check out the other video popping up. I invite you to subscribe here at the channel. I'm putting up content like this every single week. And until next time, always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared, and we'll see you out there.